Who would be?
What?
Sabrina? No.
Sophie Cunningham revealed the feverish president on live television without holding back. Nobody could have imagined the impact of her remarks, and the front desk is already in disarray. Please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel if you enjoy the content. It may surprise you to learn that almost 80% of viewers have not yet subscribed. Even though it only takes a second and is free, it means the world to us. Have you already subscribed? Fantastic. I sincerely appreciate your help. Let's return to the video now.
Oh, this game is boring. It's not good basketball. Then all of a sudden, everything got spicy. Everything got negative. We need to talk about it. You guys, this is my live reaction.
However, this is not a single viral event. From dubious silences to an unexpected cultural disaster, it is a full-fledged reckoning. I have all the unpleasant facts, the receipts, and the repercussions.
But when people try to argue that she's not the face of our league, or if our league would be where we're at without her, you're dumb as shit.
Yeah.
You're literally dumb as fuck.
You guys played at Iowa.
The goal was a standard post-game. Just another microphone, another player, another wrap-up, no drama, no attention. However, Sophie Cunningham intervened and revealed everything in less than 15 seconds. You are a moron if you do not believe that Caitlin Clark is the face of the league. It was not just a one-line quote. It was a burst of rhetoric. Just explosion, no filter, no cushion. All of a sudden, the WNBA was doing more than simply basketball. At the time, a civil war was raging. This was not an opinion, after all. It was difficult. A clear jab at the veterans who have avoided Clark from the beginning. CEOs who are hiding behind PR statements and corporate quiet deserve a kick. And a caution sign appeared in the midst of a league that was already crumbling under strain. The internet exploded in a matter of minutes. Videos containing action movie cuts are highly popular on TikTok. Sophie became a vigilante because of Twitter threads. Memes, reels, and tributes abounded on Instagram. She was referred to as the final real survivor, the bodyguard, and the enforcer. But nobody is discussing this section. There was no audible bite. It sounded like the pure truth from someone who has had enough of the phony respect and smiles. Cunningham wasn't just supporting Clark. She was accompanying her into the flames. The main desk of the Fever was silent once more. Because Indiana's leadership went into a PR frenzy after witnessing one of their own start a revolt in real time, Sophie spoke like a warrior. Additionally, they lacked a plan for the future. However, if what Sophie just said has already made you angry, please click like first. The more we discuss this, the more difficult it will be for the league to ignore it. Let's create some noise.
I got her, but at the very end, and I'm not saying this is what caused it, but she dipped a little bit.
Yeah.
But she did dip. And then right when I saw, I was like, oh shit, like my bad. Not really my bad. And then they both came at me. I was like, fuck it. Come.
Did you get fined for that?
Yeah, like $900,
Oh.
which like our fines are a joke.
The coolest part about that fight is that your face.
I didn't care.
You are aware of the time. Everybody does. Connecticut versus Indiana. Another setback has befallen Caitlin Clark. From JCS Sheldon this time. This is not the first time it has occurred. It won't be the final one. However, what came next? Everything changed at that point. Without waiting for a whistle, Sophie Cunningham took action. She turned into one. Like a linebacker tired of being polite, he stormed in, grabbed Sheldon, and flung her. There was no propulsion. It was a declaration. Commentators stumbled, and the audience froze. She was fined $900 by the referees. Sophie chuckled as well. That is it, she allegedly said, as though it were the cost of growing up. The moment quickly went viral. Even before the sweat hit the court, slow-motion replays appeared on Twitter. The identical phrase appeared in every caption, "Protect the Queen." However, the story was not well presented in the highlight reel. It took place later. Caitlin turned to Sophie in the locker room and said, "Finally." Not "thank you," not "wow," just "finally." That was the voice of tiredness. That put a stop to months of elbows, bruises, and silence. Sophie simply met her gaze and answered, "I got you." There are just two players concentrating on something genuine. No cameras or PR filters. It was no longer about basketball at that point. Clark was no longer merely a bystander. She turned to become a symbol. Additionally, Sophie was more than just a comrade. She became a rallying cry. The Fever was driven into a line in the sand by that one act of disobedience. Cooperation or unity. The majority opted for unity because it was difficult to return to business as normal following a hit like that and a reaction like Sophie's. The message was clear, and the battlefield had been sketched. Keep your distance or defend each other.
I can't believe people are doing this. Two Caitlin Clark teammates weren't jumping in there. They bring in Sophie Cunningham. I had no idea. Sophie Cunningham was a black belt at the age of 6.
Yeah. Yep.
Boom!
Wow.
JC Sheldon, that's cute. You want to poke her in the eye, then push her into a boom, maybe thing? Go ahead. I'll take a take foul, and you'll eat the deck a little bit here. And then we'll get out. I love it. I know people aren't going to like this. I like the Connecticut team doing what they did as well.
Yeah.
You said just go tomorrow. You're on the Las Vegas Strip. What can the Las Vegas expect? So,
you know what? I'm just gonna be me. I don't go in there trying to predetermine anything. I'm dialed in. I need to focus on hitting my shots, making sure I'm executing the schemes right. I'm not focused on the extracurricular activities. And you know what? During that, it was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so, at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do. And I'm a team player. So.
The temperature was mounting behind the scenes. JCS Sheldon was not thrown at random by Sophie Cunningham. The slow burn had been visible to her for months. It wasn't paranoia. It was the ability to identify patterns. There was no online conspiracy behind the league's covert efforts to dehumanize Caitlin Clark. Almost everyone knew about it. From the sidelines, side-eye. The whistle is followed by late bumps. On the buses, there were careful remarks and smirks on the bench. She doesn't deserve it. Interpretation: destroy her before she succeeds because she is not prepared for W. But Sophie caught every second. While the rest of the league played dumb, she maintained mental receipts. But when Clark was leveled for the 6th time in a single game, it was all over. The explosion was unavoidable when the fuse and match came into contact. She didn't act irresponsibly. It was just. Additionally, there was a change when the video returned to the Fever locker room. Pretending is over. It's time to stop ignoring the blows. After seeing Sophie, one of the players finally got up and declared, "Enough." The excitement spread right away. Neutrality was suddenly untenable. You were with Clark or the silence. Quiet had a face, too. When her star was in jeopardy, the Fever president disappeared. Corporate hesitancy is concealed by buzzwords, no declarations, no support. In the meantime, Sophie was doing what the leadership had declined to do in the trenches. They also kept an eye on the squad. Because they won't be chasing the person in the press box when the storm comes again. They are accompanying someone who has demonstrated her combat prowess.
But when it is a simple call right in front of your face multiple times, what are you doing?
The WNBA has made headlines, increased viewership, and improved retail sales by riding the Caitlin Clark tidal wave like it's their last chance to survive. However, Sophie Cunningham would not tolerate that double standard, not even a suggestion from upper management, when it came to really defending herself on the court. With a flamethrower full of receipts, she headed right for the league suits. She attacked the referees in a hypocritical manner while dressed well. I would be expelled if that were me. However, Caitlin got horrible justice, no assistance, and no complaints. Then she confronted the executives of the league with a blowtorch. They will not defend her even though they make money off of her. Not only were the comments heated, but they were also radioactive. The video gained a lot of popularity online. They produced T-shirts. The courtside rows were covered in protest signs. Sophie's tirade didn't sound like an interview. It was like a manifesto. For all the supporters who had been watching the hits mount without any repercussions, this is a call to action. Cunningham became more than a player all of a sudden. She was the most lethal truth-teller in the league. The overheated president, meanwhile, disappeared. There is no social media dark press team. Quotes, no defense, just silence. The league's reputation began to deteriorate during that quiet time. Because the WNBA was making money off of the disruption and neglected to protect its star. Sophie pointed out more than just poor officiating. She revealed a method that allowed her to work in the background while depending on Clark's concentration. This was not a public relations error. It was the entire fucking plan. Additionally, Cunningham's one widely shared mic drop put the league in danger. Recognize that you are using your stars, or defend them. There is no longer room for compromise.
With that, you guys, you can hear it in the video right here. The Indiana Fever fans were chanting, Sophie, Sophie. Sophie's jersey is going to sell out tonight. She's going to be in the All-Star game tonight just from this one play because she was standing on business. It wasn't a dirty play. It was an intentional foul, and it was meant to send a message. And how egregious the referees were and how they were not protecting players. And they especially weren't protecting the number one player in this league, the biggest draw in this league, which is Caitlin.
Indeed, the supporters didn't know. They had had enough of being kind after witnessing every push, every call, and every incident of league silence. The fan base provided the fuel, and Sophie lighted the match. These weren't your usual WNBA fans drinking tea in the rafters. These included Twitter parents who witnessed their daughter being mistreated while the league did nothing but sell jerseys, YouTube reactors, TikTok warriors, and Clark stans. Suddenly, the rebellion had a face. Sophie Cunningham, the truth teller, the enforcer, the person who didn't wait for PR clearance. Like confetti, TikToks fell. Gladiator music plays during Sophie's outburst, accompanied by slow-motion footage of Clark's wounds and subtitles like, "She is being mauled and they call it defense." I have never seen a WNBA game before, but I would go to fight for Sophie, a young person posted on social media. Her fan base increased from 200,000 to over 1 million in just 48 hours. The jerseys were sold out. Heartfelt notes were being posted by parents. During rehearsal, even middle schoolers were imitating Sophie. It wasn't advertising. Something shifted. And the league remained trapped on the same buffering screen. They used certain common advertising cliches, such respect for competitors and league behavior. There is not a single word about Caitlin Clark that is intimate or human. The anger erupted at that point since it was now more than just missed calls. It concerned a player, a fan base, and a moment of treachery. Sophie wasn't finished either. You are alienating the same people that are trying to keep your league intact if you do not defend her. Boom. The century's best line. It was featured on t-shirts, banners, and shouts outside stadiums. Because the WNBA insulted its entire future and disregarded its star. The admirers, on the other hand, were prepared to part with their lady, their money, and their loyalty. Take a minute to pause. Is Sophie the only one who is prepared to challenge the system, in your opinion? For the next WNBA player you believe will lose it, write a remark. The fire is just getting started.
Shout out to the Indiana Fever fans because you guys came in so strong and were doing exactly what fans need to do. They were booing these players every time they touched the ball. They were getting active. They were getting after it. I'm surprised the WNBA hasn't launched an investigation yet, honestly. But the Connecticut Sun started to get embarrassed, and that is not a good place to be. That's actually a dangerous place to be when you're on the court. And so I was worried that things are going to get even more physical because when a team feels like they have nothing to lose, sometimes they start to get dirty, they start to get extra physical. And this is not only something that happens.
Caitlin Clark was no longer the only focus of this. Sophie Cunningham threw multiple matches. As she stood up, the entire system lit up because she wasn't merely standing up for Clark. She was revealing something terrible under the veil. A league that wanted attention, got it at last, and then freaked out about demanding change and donning Clark jerseys. Let's be honest. Sophie revealed the hostility, jealousy, and narrow-minded gatekeeping of veterinarians who pretend that these behaviors are inherent to their line of work. No, it wasn't hazing. It was sabotage. You could almost hear the whispering. She wasn't treated fairly. She is just another hype-driven white woman. She did not participate in the altercation. No, she packed stadiums, increased viewership, and gave your paychecks purpose. Additionally, some players turned it into a hit job rather than enjoying it. Sisterhood doesn't operate like that. Self-destruction is what that is. Then Sophie said the quote that made everything clear. "We have always desired this. Why are we upset that it's occurring at last?" It was more than a mic drop. Nobody in a position of authority has the courage to say that. Because the system's goal was survival and grinding, not prosperity. Thus, it froze when the spotlight finally came on. The president of the Fever quit. The league remained silent. Unbeknownst to them, fans were anticipating Sophie's voice. She wasn't attempting to play the hero. However, she became something more when no one else talked. The first to swing with intention, a line in the sand, a walking rebellion in a high ponytail. Sophie Cunningham just stated the truth, appending the entire system while the league lingered in PR limbo. Sophie entered the spotlight with facts, fire, and rage, even though she didn't ask for it. The league now has an option. Change or burn. Sophie Cunningham brought the conflict, but Caitlin Clark attracted the crowd. The story is far from over. Please leave your opinions in the comments box, subscribe, and turn on all notifications to make sure you don't miss anything. Once you click the video on the screen, we'll see you in the next one.